Hello, Chill Computer Guy. Thanks for tuning in. But hey, here's the thing. I was listening to the radio. It was like a late 70s, early 80s station, and the band Devo came on. And so this track was kind of, well, the beginning of this track was kind of inspired by Devo. Now, if you don't know who Devo is, they were kind of outside the box a little bit. They were kind of weird, kind of nerdy, kind of weird, but I actually really liked them. Being a child of the 70s, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the 80s. As far as music's concerned, that's kind of when the digital, or not necessarily the digital, but the synthesizer kind of process really started to take hold. So what we got here is a track. We're going to play it here. I'm just going to drink a little bit of coffee, then we'll play the track here. All right, let's listen to this, and I'm going to stop it halfway through because the track actually metamorphosizes halfway through. So here's the thing. This is kind of outside the box, kind of rhythmatically, but to me, it presents a lot of just outside the box thinking, especially as far as the standard. Now, you'll notice here on the snare, we have the snare on the 1 and 3. That's pretty unusual. That's backwards. Normally, in traditional music, you'd have it on the 2 and the 4, but here I have it on the 1 and the 3. And then I have, as far as the kick drum, instead of just the normal 4/4, I have a couple of eighth notes and then a quarter, a couple of eighths, a quarter, and that's kind of the loop right there. And so what this allows you to do is it allows you to kind of play around with the rhythm. And of course, the hi-hat is pretty standard, but what I use is you know, 2 different hi-hats and kind of create a rhythm between them. And I believe the velocity, yeah, the velocity's straight, which is something I might actually change. But this was the type of jam where I just kind of wrote the notes in real quick, just kind of thought outside the box. And the ride cymbal, of course, is, oh yeah, it's on the same track. So basically this is an addendum. Basically I got the hats right here, and then the addendum is to add the ride, basically. Normally I might add that on a separate track, but here I just added it to the clip before it. But you can see it's pretty standard stuff as far as the hi-hat and ride patterns, but again, we got that snare on the 1 and the 3, and then we have the kick drum, a couple of eighth notes in there on the kick drum, which is a little out of the ordinary. So the bass line is just a 5-note bass line, but each of these notes is a long note. We have a 16-bar loop here. We have a 2-bar note, a 2-bar note, and then a couple of 1-bar notes in here, and we just kind of change it up. This is in C major. I don't normally write in C major. I normally write in A minor. I just don't like the sharps and flats. It confuses me, so I like to kind of slide my notes where they need to go. But A minor is my normal scale I write in. I've been getting into A melodic minor, which is basically you bump the last 2 notes up to the flats. And that, to me, is the scale that is the easiest to kind of work with and is also the most melodic. I guess it would be A melodic minor. So you'll see right here at, I guess it's bar 10, which is a little odd. I'll probably have to fix that. But the kick drum goes to a 4/4, but the snare drum stays on the 1 and 3, and then the bass line stays the same. And then a couple bars later, we bring this arpeggio in, and then here at the end, we have a pad. So basically what this is me just throwing some stuff down. You know, I'm not worried about the mix. I'm not worried about, you know, like I say, this is just ideas being thrown down, but probably be better to probably start this right here. So I have a normal 8-bar loop, but let's just go ahead and not worry about that now. But you can see that the tempo goes from 98 up to 127. So what is going to happen is this kind of Devo type unorthodox track is going to start out in that way. And normally this is going to play a lot longer, so you can kind of add some stuff to it and get some melodic elements in there. But in this case, like I say, I just throwing ideas down. So after 9 bars, should be 8 bars, but after 9 bars of this, we're going to a 4/4 and we're going to increase the tempo. So go ahead and listen to this and yeah, see kind of what's going on here. And again, not worried about the mix. I know this arpeggio is a little too loud. Also, the bass is an arpeggio, which I actually forgot about. I haven't actually looked at this track for a while. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to use the time selection tool, and I'm going to take this part of the snare, which is the last couple bars, and I'm going to highlight it with the time selection tool, and I'm going to hit consolidate. Okay, what that's going to do is it's going to, instead of a looped clip, it's going to be its own clip. Just go back to the selection tool, click on that, and I'm going to actually move these to the 2/4, kind of the standard. And so notice how that kind of swings everything into place. That arpeggio is a little bit loud, so I'm going to have to turn that down a little bit. And again, I'm not worried about the mix right now. I'm just worried about just kind of getting down some ideas. So now listen to when we get to this snare. I'll even switch color there so you can kind of see it. Notice when we get to after 24 bars, we're taking that snare from the 1/3 and we're going to the standard 2/4. So basically, this is going to metamorphosize into like kind of the standard EDM or dance type rhythm. We're going to extend these out a little bit longer so we can kind of get the whole thing together. Let's go ahead and play this from the beginning. You'll see that snare change up, and then all of a sudden you'll recognize the rhythm, which is kind of unique. Of course, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add some sidechain compression to this pad. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We'll open up our dynamics. We'll go ahead and drop that dynamic in there. And if you're like me, you've already put the EQ in, you've already adjusted for the standard sidechain, and then if you right click and go save as default preset, every time you load that in, it's going to be pretty close to where you need it to be. Now all you need to do is you need to just go up here to the kick, add that kick drum in there for the source, and then, you know, stir and repeat, or make some adjustments if you will. Here we go. Of course, we're also going to have to sidechain that bass layer. So what we want to do is when I hit Control-C, go over to the bass layer. I think this works in Bitwig. Hopefully it does. Go down here, hit Control-V. Oh, look at that. It worked. And it's already, oh, it stayed. It stayed routed to the kick. That's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and play this again now. So you can see there, you can quickly get some variations, and that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and talk about reverb. When I actually started this track, I was studying reverb. And what I mean by that is, like I say, sometimes I get ideas and I just kind of throw it at the wall and see what happens. So let's go ahead and go to the clip launcher. You can see we have the kick, snare, and hats there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mix by hitting the tab. That's the mix screen. And I'm going to unmute these reverbs. Right now they're muted. So I have an extreme amount of reverb going to the send and return. Okay, so these are being mixed with the original signal. And so you'll hear that this drum loop gets completely washed out by reverb, which makes it kind of hard to work with, but it also makes it a unique palette to add stuff to. So let's go ahead and unmute the send and return tracks here. So you can see you get a pretty full mix right away. You know, if you want to freaking lay some vocals on there, it's just going to sound, I don't want to say good, because you're going to have to massage it a little bit, you know. But you can see we got the L2, and just throw that on the master bus. Go 1.8, 1.8 across there. That'll save your life. And then, you know, try throwing, you know, here's the thing. You get unmotivated, you're like, you know, this all sounds the same, I don't want to work on music. Do some crazy stuff, you know, throw a bunch of reverb in there, you know, put your snare on the 1 and the 3. Do some crazy stuff, mix it up a little bit, and you'll find often you get kind of you get inspired, you know. And so that's basically the whole point of this video, is just to kind of go off the grid, do some crazy stuff, you know, throw some paint at the wall, see what looks good, see what sticks. Because I know that you get in here, you open up the DAW, it's an empty screen, you're like, I don't even know. You start digging around for kick drums, or start digging around for bass loops, or whatever you do. That inspiration is pretty hard to come by at times. And so, you know, if you hear some unorthodox track, you know, and definitely check out the 70s and 80s, and just what they were doing is just pretty off the wall. It's pretty outside the box. And like I say, I heard that Devo song on the radio, and I was like, that's such an unorthodox rhythm, you know. And I thought about that the next time I opened up my DAW, and I'm like, I'm going to put the snare on the 1 and the 3 instead of the 2 and the 4. And all of a sudden I'm like inspired, you know. Now the second half of this is a 4/4. You know, so basically this is probably going to be a second track. There's a lot of projects like this that are basically 2 tracks. What I'll do is just keep the same project open, and then I'll come up with a different idea and just start adding it on. But probably what's going to happen is I'll probably take all this out, you know, and which you can do with the time selection tool. Just kind of go like that, just hit delete, you know, and now you're just left with the original clip, which should probably be 8 bars long instead of 9 bars long. There you go. So now you just got the original clip. You know, you can move your loop marker, whatever you need to do there. And then there you go. There's your 8 bar. And then, you know, work off of that. And don't forget, you can open up this track a little bit. You can use your, what is it, the Alt key? Yeah, the Alt key will make this bigger and smaller. Pretty nice. You can see your notes. Also, if you hold down Shift and hit the automation key, you can see all your automation at once. So hit Shift, hit that automation key, see all your automation at once. Anyway, that's it for today. Don't forget to think outside the box. Don't forget to, if you're not inspired, listen to some music. You know, listen to some crazy unorthodox music. You'll hear some crazy stuff, and the next time you're in your DAW, you can kind of like, you know, start throwing that around and see if you get some inspiration to create a new track. So remember, these videos are not for beginners or experts. They're for everybody. Check it out. Share this channel with a friend. If you got any friends that are into music production, be sure to point them in this direction. We're going to try to get videos up once a week from now on. Subscribe. Be sure to click that bell so you don't miss anything. Please comment below. Let me know what you want to see. It would be super inspirational to have somebody comment and say, I want to know how to do this, or I want to see this. I can make a video for it, you know, because oftentimes I want to make a video, but I don't know what to make a video about. Or I'll make a video about something, and then I'll get halfway done with it. I'm like, you know, this is just kind of a pointless thing to be discussing. Well, that's why I have the Jam and Rant. I just kind of get on there, I just kind of ramble, and I play some jams, and I rant. That's the point. All right, Chill Computer Guy, thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll see you guys again. Bye-bye now.